Hi there folks, so back for another video. You will have seen earlier today that I was showing off some of my Alpha Legion stuff. Well, I also wanted to dive into a little bit of sort of why I've been sort of drawn into the Horus Heresy. I think a lot of people have been drawn into the Horus Heresy now after seeing a lot of the new plastic stuff that's being announced by Games Workshop and that kind of thing. But yeah, obviously I'm a little bit late to the party with a lot of this stuff, but I thought it'd be fun to go through and sort of give my opinions on everything that I've seen for the Horus Heresy, and yeah, where I think it's going to be fun for people to dive in. So obviously the big thing for everybody was the Age of Darkness box set, which is going to be coming out in the near future. I think it's June is the way that it's going to be coming out. Comes with a huge amount of miniatures in the set. There's 40 Space Marines, I think they've said, all in that Corvus pattern armour. Looking very, very cool indeed. Love the knobbly shoulder pads. Love the slight tweak in the proportions. I think that's a really good way of doing things to make them feel a little bit more epic. You've got all the classic looks to them. You've got the classic bolters. You've got the classic backpacks with the standards on the back of them as well. These have obviously been done as sort of Sons of Horus and stuff, which is kind of cool. And I really like the scheme for these. I think these are some of the best looking Space Marines they've done in a very, very, very long time. Alongside that, you have the two Praetors. So these have been done to be Sons of Horus and Imperial Fists, obviously, as you can see here. You've got one guy with the big, massive, nasty power axe, and you've got a power sword and sort of disruptory style weapon. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but they've got one of those. As you can see, I'm very new to the Horus Heresy. But yeah, I'm really liking the look of these two models. They could be used as pretty much any Legion, obviously. I think this is the cooler of the two, just because of the look of it. Be interesting to see what he looks like with a helmet on. I kind of like this guy, although I'm not sure about the helmet. I might take the quiff off the top, perhaps, if I was going to be playing around with him and doing something with him. But yeah, very cool looking model there. You've also got the Contemptor Dreadnought. A lot of people will be familiar with that. We had a plastic one in Betrayal at Calth, of course. Comes with a wide range of different weapon loadouts. Then you've also got the Spartan as well, which is the big new plastic tank that they're bringing out. Decked out with las cannons and all sorts of different weapons there, as you can see, and a Mark II Space Marine on the top there, controlling things with his pintle-mounted gun. A really awesome looking transport, and nice to see that in plastic. You've also got the Cataphracti Terminators as well. Again, these are the ones that we've seen previous. They're nothing new really to the Horus Heresy. In plastic anyway, but it's nice to see them coming back with a whole range of different weapon options. Again, obviously done as Imperial Fists here, but you could do them as whatever you fancied, which is kind of cool. You also get the massive rulebook. That is absurd. I'll be talking a little bit more about that later. Alongside transfer sheets, as you might have imagined, reference sheets. Templates and whippy sticks are back. Who doesn't like a good whippy stick? And then you've got your standard dice with your artillery dice in there as well. But yeah, a really good looking set of miniatures. Everyone was thinking this was going to be coming in around the £300 mark, but from the announcement of the Warhammer Fest sort of details, they said that this was actually going to be coming in at under £200. Now, as my partner suggested, that might mean that it's £199.99. But I would probably see this coming in around the 150 quid mark. If it even at that point under £200, this is absurdly good value for money. 40 Marines in of themselves. You're looking at sets of 10 are normally about £30 each. You've got the Cataphracti Terminators there, probably about £30-40. The tank itself is probably about 40-50 quid. Contemptor, £30-40. Each of the Praetors coming on to near 20. So, you know, when you look at that alongside the huge rulebook and all the rest of it, a pretty exceptionally good deal. A lot of people have said that they would split this with their friends. Seems like a good idea. You could do it 20 Marines each. And then you could decide who gets the Terminators and who gets the Contemptor. or you could just mix and match it and give one person the vehicle, and then you each obviously have a Praetor each and that kind of thing as well. But it'll be very interesting to see what they do with this. I think a lot of people are probably going to pick this up as their set. As I say, the value for money on that is pretty darn absurd, and so having this in as your starting point for the Heresy would be pretty freaking awesome, if you don't already own some Heresy stuff of your own. But yeah, so this is obviously a fantastic starting point for those people who are diving into the Horus Heresy. Really cool stuff there. The leaks were proved to be right many moons ago. This has been in the works for a long time, but yeah, very cool stuff there. It's a two-player, everything for 2 players in a box, which is pretty awesome. But really, it's just for one person, I would say. You could even pick up 2 sets and then mix and match what you like, I guess. But we also got some more stuff as well. So obviously the rules. So the main rulebook's going to come in the box set, and that will be available separately as well in the future. But we also have these 2 army books. So you have an army book for the Loyalist Legions, and an army book for the Traitor Legions. In essence, you're probably only going to need one of these, but I imagine a lot of people are probably going to pick up both anyway, because people like to complete things, and it would be weird to collect a Heresy army and not have both of those books. I am slightly worried about the price of these. Obviously the rule book being included in the box set cuts down the price significantly. I can't see these going for less than £40 each, something like that. But yeah, it's they look pretty nice, they look pretty snazzy. It'll be very cool to see what they do with those. If you are already into the Horus Heresy and you just want to pick up some miniatures, then you'll be able to pick up the Mark 6 Tactical Squad, so your Corvus pattern armour there, as you can see, nice and easily with a big box set of 20 of them. So you don't have to buy the new box set if you don't want to. You can just buy one of these smaller Tactical Squad boxes. The number of Marines you need in games of Horus Heresy is drastically more than you need in 40k. In 40k you often see squads of around sort of 10. You know, that's the standard makeup for a tactical squad, same for Primaris as well. In Horus Heresy you want to be getting things to like 20, maybe even 40 man squads if you can. I think 20 is probably the best way to go. But yeah, some pretty awesome looking models there with some really nice box art. I really like that. You've also got the re-release of 2 of the older sets as well. So you've got your Mark III tactical squads. That's what it was on the tank, Mark III. So yeah, that's been reboxed from Burning of Prospero. And then you also have the Mark IV tactical armor, which has been reboxed from Betrayal at Calth. Some of those you would have seen earlier when I was painting up those models for the Alpha Legion. But yeah, very cool there. They're also going to be releasing Araman again from Burning of Prospero, and Giga Fellhand, who's one of the 13th Legion commanders, again from Burning of Prospero. It's nice to see those 2 plastic miniatures making out into the wild separately. I think Giga, or Geiger, however you want to say it, is one of the coolest Horus Heresy models out there in plastic. Probably even better than Fafnir Iran, in my opinion. And I think that's absolutely epic. And I'll probably pick him up to paint him, even if I don't actually collect Space Force. I'm collecting Alpha Legion. I've gone completely off-piste. But yeah, very nice stuff there. So yeah, it's nice to see that they're sort of supporting the range with additional releases for the Horus Heresy, with plastic sets and all that kind of thing as well. We also have more stuff as well. So one of the other big things about the Horus Heresy is that heavy weapons, specialist weapons, didn't tend to find themselves ingratiating into smaller units of tactical squads. They often came in units of themselves, and you would tend to get everybody on with the same weapon. So that's where these come in. You can effectively buy these kits and then bolt them onto your existing Corvus pattern Space Marines, as well as the other sets as well. These have been designed specifically for the Corvus ones, but they have said, especially on the live show, that you can easily mix these in with what exists out there as well, so that you can sort of play around with the older kits as well as the newer ones. But who wouldn't want to have beakies carrying big heavy weapons? So you've got the special weapons upgrade set, the Volkites. That's what that weapon was. So you've got the Volkites, plasma guns, melter guns, the two different variants of Volkites, sorry, flamers and the rotor cannon. God, I love the rotor cannon. That looks so cool. You've got the heavy weapon upgrade set as well, which comes with heavy bolters and missile launchers. Plasma cannons, heavy flamers and multi-melters in the heavy weapons upgrade set as well there. So you've got two different upgrade sets there. But again, the idea is that you'd have 10 Marines armed with plasma cannons. You'd have 10 Marines armed with heavy flamers. That's the way that things worked within the Horus Heresy, so you have this just enormous amount of specialist firepower coming from one unit rather than being mixed in with the tactical squads. You've also got the heavy weapons upgrade set number 3, which comes with Volkite culverines, las cannons and autocannons. Again, freaking love the look of that autocannon. Just imagine that sound as it fires. Very cool indeed. Or you could microwave people if you wanted, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so some nice upgrade sets and things there. There's also a couple of new releases in terms of vehicles. So we're getting the Demos or the Deimos pattern Rhino is coming back to the battlefield. Will be very, very familiar to those who have played Warhammer 40,000 before the advent of 9th edition, well 8th and 9th edition I suppose, with the coming of the Primaris. This is the traditional style Rhino that a lot of people will be aware of. The Sisters of the Battle do have one of these, although it's covered in adornments and all that kind of thing, so it's nice to have a standard looking Rhino there. Comes with transfers and stuff probably already, but it'd be cool to see if the Forge World doors go on those. I think they did say that would probably work, but that would be an easy way to kind of make your vehicles fit your legion of choice, I think. But yeah, very awesome to see the traditional Rhino back in action and kicking ass. Very cool model, as always. Love the look of it. Big, bulky, chunky, nasty, horrible. The workhorse of the Space Marines. We also had this, which is the Kratos, which is going to be rolling in as a sort of standard battle tank. So it sits, as they say here, between the Sicarion and the Fellblade. So it's a pretty awesome looking big battle tank for you to use in your games. If you're going to be fighting the likes of Titans and Knight, you probably want to have a big old badass tank in the mix with its battle cannon, melter blast gun and Volkite Cardinal to shred your enemies into pieces. Again, stunning looking model. Really good to see these things coming in plastic, and a lot more of the resin stuff is going to be ported over into this as well, I would imagine. Very cool indeed. Then we got a couple of additional things. So this is really good for me because I'm relatively new to the Horus Heresy. I kind of know the spark notes of it, which I'll get to again in a little bit later in the video. But I've never read any of the books. I didn't really get on with them initially. I might come back to them, maybe listen to them as audio books, just to kind of get my sort of ear in when it comes to the Horus Heresy. There's going to be a couple of new books. So there's Lupercal's War, a Horus Heresy anthology, which is going to be sort of act as your starting point for diving into the Horus Heresy. Be fun to see what that one's like. I think it's 21 stories, which is pretty cool. I think this is probably a good way to start, rather than just starting at the beginning of the Horus Heresy series, which is like 50 odd books long or something now. You can instead read from different viewpoints and then see where you want to go next, which I think is pretty awesome. Each legion has at least one story in the book, which is pretty cool. Very nice. There's even suggestions for where to go next. Very nice. Very cool. There's also one for Chthonia's Reckoning, which focuses in on the models from the box set. So you've got your Sons of Horus going up against the Imperial Fists in a lesser known battle. I'm sure that won't be lesser known after this, which is pretty nice. There's also a new Primarch book coming out for Rogal Dawn, which is pretty cool, obviously, considering I'm collecting Alfarius and the Alpha Legion, because they have quite a bitter scrap towards the end. I won't spoil it, but yeah, things do not end well. You'll be able to find out for whom when you dive into the Horus Heresy yourself. We also got a couple of additional reveals this week, or at least over the last couple of days. We had the release of the Lucius model for the Emperor's Children in plastic, which is pretty awesome. Fantastic model. I think they managed to get his sneer perfectly on point. I think he looks absolutely fantastic and is making my friend consider the Emperor's Children all the more, if only to kill him. Which I think is kind of cool. But yeah, a really awesome model that kind of offers up a look at kind of what they're looking to do with the range going forward. I assume this guy's plastic actually anyway. Obviously he turns into Lucius the Eternal. But yeah, I would assume this guy's going to be plastic. It would be weird for them to start doing plastic and then going back to a resin model. It looks plastic from what I can see of the model and the detailing and that kind of thing, but we shall see where they go with this. But yeah, very nice indeed. Nice to see more characters coming to the fore. We also got a look at another tank. So this is a rather nifty looking, what's this one? The Sicarion. There we go. Fantastic. So this is your slightly different battle tank for you to use in games. A little bit smaller, as you can see, but comes with all manner of different weapons for you to use in battle. Very cool. Now, obviously the Horus Heresy coming out is great. And it's good that we're going to get these new books detailing all of the 7th edition style rules for the Horus Heresy. Fantastic. Cool stuff. And I didn't mind 7th edition. It was a bit bloated towards the end, a lot of special rules and that kind of thing, but in general, pretty cool. Let's just find the rulebook again. But that's the rulebook. I played 9th edition, whose rulebook is, in effect, about 10 pages long or something to that effect. All of the other rules are then baked into the models themselves. Am I ready to go back to play 7th edition and have to learn an entirely different way of playing 40k while I'm currently playing 40k? I don't know. That's where I was put on to a set of rules based around 9th edition from a great collective of individuals. So this is the Horus Heresy 9th edition project, and I'll put a link to this, or at least their webpage anyway, their landing page, in the comments down below. This has basically taken the Horus Heresy and everything that has ever come out for it so far and turned it into 9th edition rules. So you might be saying, how on earth did they do that? Well, I'm just going to bring this up and show you this. So let's go here. So each of them comes as a PDF. This one's 43 pages long. We'll come to this one later actually. So we have this one, which is the main army list set. So obviously everything in the game uses the 9th edition rules. Alright? So you have everything here that is based around keywords and all that kind of thing, war gear and stuff, right? And then everything else has been laid out to match the style of 9th edition, where everything is included within the unit's entry, so that you don't have to worry about hunting out specific special rules in rulebooks. Everything is tied to the characters, as you see here. Is that better? I'm sure a lot of Horus Heresy purists would say no. For someone like me, who has only just started getting into 9th and learning 9th, I think this might be a really good way for me to play the Horus Heresy era without having to immediately learn an entirely new set of rules. As you can see, they have done rules for everything, I think, that exists within the Horus Heresy range so far, and how it breaks down. Obviously you've got all the different versions of troop choices and heavy troop choices, vehicles, tanks, everything you could think of is here. I'm just going to make you sick. Go back to the start. So yeah, everything is included in here, which is pretty awesome, including Lords of War, fortifications, and even some Mechanicum units as well, which is pretty nice. They've then got a breakdown of how this works with point values, warlord traits, and a whole bunch of other things as well. There's even stratagems here, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Let's see if I can. Does this have bookmarks? No, it doesn't. let's just make you sick again. So yeah, you've got a breakdown of stratagems that you can use in your games, which is pretty cool. Disciplines for librarians, litanies of battle, warlord traits, points values for everything is there as well if you don't want to play with power. I quite like playing with power, to be honest. So everything has been done to effectively match the style of Horus Heresy, but with the flair of 9th edition. I love that you've got this sort of breakdown of how to make armies using the Principia Bellicosa. I only know how to say that because of Arbitrarian. But yeah, so you've got a breakdown of all the different stuff there for each of the different legions and how that works for the various legions within the game and all that kind of thing. So very nice. This kind of gives you a couple more Lords of War. There's some agents and specific characters in there fighting for the Emperor and the War Master. Some special characters, which is always nice. This is all going to be updated as well, I would imagine, over on their website. So if you did want to dive into this and find out a little bit more, they do update these things all the time. I had the 2.27 version of the Legions book to begin with, but this is obviously now 2.30, as you can see. But yeah, so there's some very nice stuff there. It's nice to see them building on things and changing things. You might then say, well, what about each of the individual legions? Well, there is also another book about that. So you've got the Legion Astartes Legions book, which is the 9th edition compilation for 1.1000. This then breaks down each of the different legions in turn and gives you specific rules for how to use them, their primarchs, their sort of special characters. So you've got the likes of Sigismund, Fafnir, Ran, Shadrach, Meduson, and all that kind of thing in there as well. For me, obviously, with the Alpha Legion, you've got Exodus and stuff and all that kind of thing, and Armilius Dino, which is quite nice. But yeah, everything is broken down here for each of the individual factions, the legions in the game. Gives you an idea of the kind of war gear they can take, warlord traits specific to them. If you want to use just Praetors, you don't want to use a Primarch. Their specific war gear, their legion traits as well, and that kind of thing as well, which is quite nice. You've even got the breakdown of the points lists and everything for each of the different legions. And as I say, everything's been broken down in such a way that it works with 9th, can be used with power or points. And I genuinely think this is a really fun idea. There's even separate stratagems for each of the different forces as well, which is always nice to see. As I say, it's probably not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I know a lot of people really like the fact that 7th edition mimics a lot of the kind of brutality of the Horus Heresy, but I reckon that this could do exactly the same as well. And yeah, it's a pretty fantastic project that has been tirelessly updated to play the game. It'll be interesting to see if this continues once the new version of the game comes out, or if everybody ports back over to 7th edition. But as I say, as someone who is only just starting to get to learn 9th edition properly, playing with my Eldar in Warhammer 40,000, this seems like a really good way to take people in a slightly different direction and get them learning about the Horus Heresy and the different units and enjoying the models that are available without having to learn an entirely new set of rules or rethink how they play 40k, because I think that's the biggest thing. You're going to have to entirely rethink how you play the game if you want to go back and play it with 7th. But yeah, very cool stuff. I mean, that's a Primarch entry. Pretty nice and easy and simple in my thinking. Yeah, very cool. I love that it's all just on one page. And because it's digital, you can just have it on a tablet and flick through it and find everything. And you don't have to pay anything extra for all the the goodies, really. But yeah, so that is what we're looking at for the Horus Heresy 9th edition. With this kind of like cool project here. As I say, you've got this sort of Google Drive here, but there's also, if the page loads, this kind of landing page where you can donate to help them out, which is pretty awesome. But this is their sort of 9th edition project, as you can see, where everything has been put together lovingly by this community. And yeah, I would definitely recommend going to give this a look. It is very, very cool, and I think it will be the way that I start to play the Horus Heresy. I should also point out that if you're really, really interested in the Horus Heresy, there is a site that I definitely think you should go and visit. Now, Games Workshop have been doing some reveals and sort of breakdowns of the different legions. That's fine. I think Arbiter Ian does a way better job of doing it. He has a really, really good style. He is up to the Space Wolves at the moment with the 6th Legion, but he has done, as you can see here, them in order. He's done the Dark Angels, he's done the 2nd Legion, which was a really fun video, the Emperor's Children, the Iron Warriors, the White Scars, and the Space Wolves, and there are more to come, obviously. He's also done breakdowns on the different releases for the Horus Heresy, a little bit like I did just here. He was at the open day, which was pretty cool. And he does a bunch of other really fun videos as well. So if you're interested in learning a little bit more about the Horus Heresy, I cannot recommend Arbitorian strongly enough. His Heresy 101 stuff is brilliant. I love the breakdowns of the different legions he's been doing. That's the update on how he was part of the team that brought that 9th edition set to the tabletop. They've got a review of all of the Horus Heresy novels in under 20 minutes, which is pretty cool. There's a look back at how the Horus Heresy has evolved since 1988. All the different plastic kits that can be used from the 40k selection within the Horus Heresy, which is always nice to see. And also a breakdown of each of the different factions in 15 minutes. So very cool stuff there as well, as you can see. But yeah, I think Arbitorian is probably one of the go-to people at the moment for learning about the Horus Heresy, and I can't wait to see what videos come out. I think they're doing a Tale of Four Gamers around the Horus Heresy, which I think is going to be really, really cool. I can't wait to hear about how they break down the different armies and how they paint them, each of the different legions. And also, I can't wait to see if we get to see some like gameplay and stuff. I think that could be really fun. It's a little bit of a sort of additional bit of work for Arbitorian, I would imagine, but I think some gameplay would be really good, or at least some sort of abstraction reports and sort of snapshots of their battles that they've been playing. But I think it's going to last about a year, which I think is really cool. But yeah, some awesome stuff there to go and check out from Arbitorian. As I say, I'll have the link down to both Arbitorian's channel and also the Horus Heresy 9th edition project here, because I think this is a really good way for getting started in the Horus Heresy. But yeah, some really fun stuff coming out model wise that I think is going to get a lot of people very, very excited. It'll be fun to see how they deal with the additional factions from the Horus Heresy across the Imperium, and also maybe even looking towards the forces of the Xenos factions and races as well, which would be kind of nice. But yeah, if you are interested in the Horus Heresy, make sure to let me know down in the comments below. What legion will you be picking to play as? Will you be playing it using the 7th edition rules, or will you be playing it using this fan-created 9th edition compilation for Warhammer 40,000 as you see here? Let me know in the comments down below. I would love for you to like, share, subscribe, and genuinely have a really nice time. If you like what I do and you want to see more of it, make sure to basically dive into the Ko-fi link that's down below in the comments. It'd be really fun if you could drop me a couple of extra quid here and there that I could spend on a cup of tea, or maybe to increase my Horus Heresy collection and therefore make more videos for you. That would be really fun as well. But you don't have to do that if you don't have the means. Just the liking, the sharing, subscribing and all that kind of thing would be fantastic. Make sure to check out some more of my other videos. I've done some really fun stuff on Mordheim. I am going to be coming back to talk about Warhammer Fantasy Battles and how I got started in that next weekend probably. I just wanted to dive into this at the moment because I was painting some Alpha Legion and that kind of thing, as you saw earlier today. But yeah, have fun everybody. Let me know what you think of the Horus Heresy, 7th or 9th. Da, da, da. And I'll be back with another video very, very soon. Bye for now.